come talk to me about it if you were moved to participate. No pressure.
So Derek, you had me do one. So it's a piece of cloth, right? And you ask people to write or draw or put something on the cloth, and that's what all of those are, right?
Yeah.
Prayer flags in Buddhist tradition.
It could just even be a handprint.
I want to say on behalf of the Keepers of the Athabasca who has helped support this in a small way, I'd like to thank all the people in Fort McMurray First Nations for contributing their contribution and support to help Clio make this happen. We see this as a very good model for bringing people together. When I was at the AER consultation, I ran into a lot of oil executives, and well, how do you have these relationships with first? I said, well, first you've got to have a friend. So it's about relationship, and I think the circle model is something that has to happen in community, and you need everybody there. So I think this is a possible model for continually learning, helping young people find and hear the voices that speak what's in their heart, and a way to participate in society. I had people yesterday come up to, oh, I'm working in the industry, I need to talk to you about what's happening in water. And I get that every time we have these gatherings. And so the need for what we're doing and the stories we need told, we really appreciate the fact that you're making a video so that this story can become online like some of our others. And as Keepers of the Athabasca and Keepers of the Water, the story has to be told. And the more we tell and share that story, the more the people from all around the world know. Like, people in Germany know more about the tar sands and Alberta's oil than most Albertans. I ran into a couple in Cuba this February, and they knew more than my neighbors in Athabasca about what was going on. So we continue to share this around the world, and it's kind of like raising the consciousness of society of why we need to do what we're doing. And thank everybody for coming, and if you can find ways and encourage other people to support us in the work we're doing, we'd appreciate that too. But it's been priceless, this gathering. There's not many of us here, but there's certainly an amazing story. And thank you for that.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Brian DeHeer. I live in Lac La Biche. I've lived there for about 25 years. I grew up on the coast in Vancouver. Lived a few other places before settling in Lac La Biche. I have a livelihood there based on teaching music lessons. I teach guitar, other instruments, bass guitar, drums, ukulele. I teach some classes in schools in the area, and I also work part-time at the Portage College Students Association. I'm their manager. And those are my various work part-time jobs, and then I also have various volunteer roles, I guess, lots of hats, groups that I'm involved with. I'm one of the board members of the Keepers of the Athabasca, and they've worked together with the Fort McMurray First Nation to help sponsor this healing gathering here today, this weekend. I've also been involved in an environmental stewardship committee with Lac La Biche County. I've been a member of various other groups for a number of years, the Alberta Wilderness Association, CPAWS is the Canadian Parks and Wilderness Society. Who am I missing? I'm also currently the chairperson of the Athabasca Watershed Council. That's a watershed planning and advisory council in Alberta. And of course I've been a volunteer and coordinator with the Green Party of Canada for a number of years, and that leads me to how Phil Jones actually contacted me. He found my name through the Green Party information. So he phoned me once. One day I got a phone call. "Hi Brian, this is Phil Jones. I'm from Washington State," and we started talking about the Road to Athabasca pilgrimage, and I was instantly thrilled, and I said, "How can I help? I'd like to help in whatever way I can." Because I'm very much interested in the reason behind the trip, to make the connection between people who live up here where I live and people where you live in Washington State. And I'm also a bicycle tour enthusiast. I've done a number of bike tours myself, so I said, well, I'll try and help however I can. Tried to bring him in contact with some other people like Cleo Reese and some other folks from our Keepers of the Athabasca group. And so I hope that worked out okay. Here all of you are at the Healing Gathering, so that was great that could work out. And I was really happy then to be able to ride along with the group. First on your day 2 leg going from Sumas to Hope, BC, and lastly the last couple of days from Legal to Lac La Biche, and then yesterday from Lac La Biche to here in Anzac. So,
can you tell me a little bit about what your time has been like with the group, and if it's what you expected, or anything like that?
Sure. Well, it's been great to share time and get to know everybody in the group. I have absolutely enjoyed, interacting with everyone, learning more about you, and seeing some of the connections, come together, which is what I remember when I first spoke with Phil weeks ago, months ago. That's what I think what you were hoping for, and I was trying to help with. So I was glad to see that some of those came through, and it was great to be riding and sort of being the support vehicle for the last couple of days with Kyle and Phil. Amazing what they did as bicyclists to travel those 2 distances. I forget the distance of Legal to Lac La Biche. That was over 100 kilometers, I think over 150, now I can't remember the numbers. And yesterday, I believe, would have been 240 or so kilometers from Lac La Biche to here. I'm thankful that they were appreciative of they called me their, I forget the term they used now, cycling angel or something, because as I was being the support vehicle, I'd be there every few dozen kilometers, and I would drive ahead with my vehicle, park somewhere, take my bike out of my vehicle, ride back to wherever they were. As soon as I met with them, then I'd go along with them, and we'd cycle together back up to my vehicle. And so that would be a chance for them to refill with water, or to buy, to have snacks, refuel, whatever they needed, and then they could keep going. And they said that was wonderful. So, I'm happy that I was able to do that, and that it made a difference. Phil said several times that it would have almost been impossible for them to cover the distance they needed to cover if they hadn't had that. So I was happy to be able to do that.
Wow.
Then there's a number of threads that really fit well. When I first spoke with Phil, and then I went and looked on your website, a number of threads that were really in harmony and in sync with the work that I've been trying to do in my life. For one thing, trying to making more people aware of the implications of this industry, extracting bitumen, and that there are risks and hazards that are involved in it, environmental and social risks and hazards, and a lot of people aren't aware of them. That's something I've been, trying to work on for a number of years. And so when I saw that that was one of the focuses of your trip, I thought, that's perfect, this is great. And of course you arrived at that entirely independently from me. Another one was just the aspect that you were looking at talking with local people in the areas, and including Aboriginal First Nations people. And so for me, that has led me to get involved with the Keepers of the Athabasca. That's one of the, I think one of the really valuable aspects of that group, I find, is that it's a group of Aboriginal people and non-Aboriginal peoples working together for some shared common values. And I think even just that working together is important and highly valuable. And I saw that was something on the website, something that your group had been looking at. So I thought, oh, this is, you're right on with the way you're looking at this. And I thought, oh, I've got to get you in touch with other people from the Keepers of the Athabasca. So that was a great fit. And the other aspect that you've been looking at had to do with the various pipelines, the Kinder Morgan proposal to twin their pipeline, which I was familiar with already, and I feel a personal connection to the effects or impacts of that because I grew up in Vancouver, so I know where that pipeline goes to. When I visit my relatives, I drive through that valley, the North Thompson River Valley that goes from Valemount right down to Kamloops. I've fallen in love with that valley on my drives. I've driven it in summer and in winter. It's beautiful, it's scenic, it's very natural still, not a whole lot of development. And when I first realized, I'd done the trip several times, and then when I realized the existing Kinder Morgan pipeline is running through that valley, and what if there was a spill in that valley from the pipeline that exists, and they want to build another one, and the one that they want to build is twice as big. So I thought, well, there's cause of concern for me. I certainly relate to that. So anyways, that was another thread. And I've been following the various proposals for pipelines, the Keystone XL pipeline, the Gateway pipeline. Is that the right name for the one going to Prince Rupert? The Northern Gateway pipeline, that's right. And the proposal that's going east through Canada to the east coast. I've also heard proposals of going north to the Arctic, either in the Canadian Arctic or possibly to Alaska. Still, northern climates, and to me those are the scariest ones because the environment there is so fragile and the summer is so short there. So I think that should be, if they're looking at any pipeline options, that should be the very last, or shouldn't even be on the table, going to the northern climate areas. But anyways, when I saw that was another one of the focuses of your group, I thought, wow, I'm definitely, count me in, I thought, I'm on board. And since it's bicycling, I thought, I want to bike with them too. So when I found out the timing and I realized, I'm going to be visiting relatives in Vancouver just about the time when you're starting, so I arranged to be there and meet you at Sumas.
That's great.
So that was very cool.
I guess one more question. I try to kind of frame things in a solution-based mindset for all of the issues that we're having, and I wonder if anything comes to mind for you as far as solution or compromise or anything that could potentially kind of fix the situations that we're in.
Well, one thought that comes to mind relating to the bitumen, and all of these efforts are trying to move the bitumen to various markets outside Alberta. I know I've heard a number of people commenting on this. Why are all these efforts trying to export the bitumen outside of Alberta? Wouldn't it make more sense? Because by doing so, we're adding risk of the transport of the bitumen. The pollution from the bitumen is being exported to those remote locations. And in places where that pollution is happening, a lot of places have lower environmental standards. And in particularly, we've heard lots of mention this weekend about jobs and the importance of job creation. So we're exporting the jobs of processing the bitumen. So I've heard various people saying, why is there all this effort to try and export the bitumen outside of Alberta? Wouldn't it make more sense to do that here? Process it closer to its point of origin, keep the jobs in Alberta, reduce the risk of transport. If there's environmental risks, we should, in Alberta and Canada, should have higher environmental standards than we see in other countries like the US or China or other overseas locations. I know that in Alberta, we've had for over 20 years a toxic waste treatment plant in Swan Hills. So if there are any byproducts that are toxic that we would need to deal with, we've got a plant in Alberta that should be able to deal with that. So to me, it makes a lot of sense that we should be looking at processing the bitumen in Alberta. I don't know how far that's going to go. Like I say, I know I have heard that point made in various places at the provincial level, at the federal level. It's been in the news from time to time, but it does seem to be falling on deaf ears when it comes to certainly our federal government and the industry. Not sure what to expect with our provincial government here in Alberta. We have a new government, the NDP, the New Democratic Party, and I think we can hope for some good things from them. But we did hear in our meeting this morning, other people feel the same way. We can hope for some good things for them. We've been hearing some good messages from them, but we're still waiting to see some of the results. So I certainly hope for those results. I guess other than that, I look forward to the possibility of some changes at the political level, the federal political level, when we have our federal election in just over a month. It's going to be, I think, very difficult to predict the outcome of that, so I don't know what to hope for, but I certainly hope for some changes that would be an improvement on what we have now. So.
Anything else that you feel like you'd like to say before we stop?
Well, I'm going to say again, I have a tremendous amount of admiration and respect for all of you in the group, particularly Phil and Kyle at the physical accomplishment level for the amazing biking that they've done. That they biked every single mile, every single kilometer, and those last 2 days, the incredible distances they traveled, their strength and their pace is far above anything that I would be able to accomplish. So that's very impressive to me. Certainly the whole concept, and I'm not sure if that was Phil's idea or Derek. I think you've been involved from the early parts, but anyways, that all of you were able to organize that, pull it together, and carry it out, and here you are. That is so impressive. I wish I could have been involved in something like that. I wish I'd had the idea. I could almost say, oh, I wish I'd thought of that. And even if I had thought of it, I don't know if I ever would have tried to do it, because it just seems like, oh, that's amazing. How could you accomplish that? Maybe it might seem impossible to do. So all of you carried that out, and that's pretty impressive, pretty awesome.
Cool. All right. Thank you.
I kind of forgot what I was talking about, but I thought that was kind of a cool.
Can you all stand together real quick?
Yeah.
I think you were talking about how after a fire, totally burns something down, these fireweeds send out billion seeds, and then within a couple years,
Yeah, so we're getting kind of a dusting of the firewood. This is really cool. Happens in Colorado in the mountains too. But it looks like it's snowing from the down from this plant floats around. And I thought that it's very fitting because we're going to go do a ceremony that is very much a fire ceremony and water. Right? And after the fire comes, this plant is like the phoenix, right? The forest burns up, and then you have a new regeneration starts again. And then these guys build and decay, and then up come the aspen, and the whole process starts over again.
We're about to enjoy a sweat lodge
Yeah.
and bring up prayers for ourselves and for the circle and for the group. And we're also going to send up all the prayers, hopes, dreams, and fears from the wishing line. We're going to dedicate the wishing line.
You're gonna take the wishing line in there with you?
We're gonna take the wishing line in there with us and send all of those wishes and prayers to the Creator. Lazar and Les is gonna help us. They're gonna help us with that process.
I like that we're taking the wishing line in there because that's been Heather's physical manifestation on the part of the trip that she hasn't been able to take.
Yeah.
And so glad that Heather gets to go into the sweat lodge with us.
Very cool. All right.
Maybe kind of button it up a little bit.
Or like this.
Yeah, button it up like that. Kind of like
out of 2 cups of vodka and some essential oils and some garlic.
He asked me if
You know?
perfect.
her and I were.
Smells good.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
and
was like,
they
"Oh,
will
use
not,
it."
like, you'll
I
find
can
they'll
tell you
start to
that.
land in about half an hour to 45 minutes, but they won't start to bite for another half hour after that.
Yeah. Really? This is the way I'm washing my sweaty bike shorts out. That work? Also, waking the dead. Calling in some favors from Poseidon. Waking Poseidon up. Say, hey, they're polluting your water too. Wake up, Poseidon. Time you stop. No open flames in my pit. No open flames.
Some nicely gifted smoked whitefish